Hey, everybody, this is Captain Kyle, aka the Governor. I am here with my crew. We are the Sinister Six, and we're going to be talking about Spider-Man. He's a menace. And though J. Jonah was, anyway, I got these great people. We're going to talk. There will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, please turn
Get
away,
the hell
or if
out
you
right
don't
now.
care.
No, click a like first and then leave.
Like and subscribe.
And share with-
Trust me.
Share with
go
your
see
friends
it.
that have seen it.
smash that
You
like
don't
button.
want this spoiled for you. Trust me.
Right.
Boop, that button. Anyway, there's lots of things that you could do, but then spoilers are coming up. Before we get to the spoilers, let's introduce our crew. First, we have the hardest working man in comics, Mr. Victor Dandridge. How are you doing today, Victor?
Fantastic. Y'all don't even know I've been prepping for this all weekend. It's been on. Let's go. I've seen the movie multiple times. It's ridiculous.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Now, our fan with the most,
Oh no.
Jaz. How are
Okay,
you?
there we go.
Okay.
Anticipation.
Mini
Yeah,
blip.
froze for a moment.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen it once. The experience was amazing, even though it wasn't an opening night experience, and I can't wait to explain that later once we get through the intros.
I didn't see it opening night either. Don't worry. And our resident wizard who always rolls critical 20s, Joseph Davis. How are you, Joseph?
I don't have a hat. I'm a sorcerer. So, but no, I'm
Those are the
doing
rules.
very well.
You're
I'm doing very
alien
well.
wizard. Anyway, what was the
Uh,
third one? You guys got to know. It's
Oh,
one of the
aliens,
three.
wizards, and like androids.
It was androids.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was androids.
Yeah.
Kevin.
And of course, we have Mr. Matthew Porter, our resident podcaster extraordinaire.
That
Anime
works.
freak.
I'll take
works.
all that. I just got 3 words for you guys. Cure that
Glad-
ass.
Mm.
Cure
Mm.
that ass.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Talk about Steve, y'all. Did not talk about Steve.
And we do have a special guest, but we are not going to hold back at all because he's going to have to put up with us. We have Moive Bob from Moive Bob. How you doing, Bob?
I am well. Thank you so much for the invite. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure. Thank you so much.
And I noticed you're fortifying with vitamins and minerals and wine.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
So
He's seen the show before. He knows.
He's
what's
ready. He's
going
ready for the Ant-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
game.
let's go. Let's go.
He's ready.
we're not mentioning a certain small person.
What's my person?
Exactly.
Count? I
I
think
don't
that
know
counts.
what you're talking about. The atom. We're not talking about the atom.
There it is.
All right, that's totally
Counted.
DC. All right, so
Targeted.
Spider-Man, No Way Home. We've been waiting for it for so long, and it picks up pretty much where the last movie ended. Initial thoughts of that, spider chase. Who wants to go first? Raise your hand. All right, Joseph beat you to it, Victor. You can go next.
It's all good. It's all good.
I really dug it. I mean, it's what we kind of were expecting. It's either that or they just kind of brush it under the rug. And if they brush it under the rug, they kind of still got to explain, like, okay, how did he even get home? Because that was escalating very badly.
Yeah, that was quite a thing, though. Of course, when Tobey Maguire lost his mask and everyone saw his face on a train, they're all like, "He's just a kid. Who cares? Oh well." But when you have J. Jonah Jameson blasting your name too, that kind of sucks. Victor.
Obviously, this is a return to my dismay, my ire about Far From Home, because I was one of those people that didn't like it. This movie, again, was clever, but not smart. And this just kind of picks up that same thread where we clearly saw Skrulls who were impersonating people before, and we don't immediately pick that thread up. But I do give them credit for at least picking up the ball right where Far From Home left off. That was fun, but then it took us into a space where I was like, let's just get beyond this. Let's just go. Let's just hear them. Yeah.
You've seen it multiple times, so you couldn't have hated this that much.
I saw it on a sneak preview, and then I had to see it with my children. So yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, let's go with our guest, Bob. What were your initial thoughts of Spider-Man fan service home?
Yeah, I as someone who didn't like the first one and liked the second one enough. I have my issues with the MCU Spider-Man as a big fan of the rest of the MCU stuff, but not so much this incarnation of the Spider-Man stuff, but probably get into that as it goes. I liked the beginning of this. And part of what I liked about it is how quick it breezed by, the fact that something that they set up as a problem at the end of Far From Home, when you think about it for a minute, was never going to be a problem for him. Because it's like, oh, hey, everyone knows who Spider-Man is. And then it's like, oh, wow, that's a huge problem for Spider-Man. Except in this universe where secret identities have never once been a problem for anyone.
Exactly.
So what's
Right.
and
Yeah.
I
the best
am
friend of the
Iron Man.
It's just
he's
an
the best friend of
identity.
the richest man in the world. So this is really not going to be an issue. And I appreciate, as we're watching like the best superhero studio that has ever existed in the world have to collaborate on a movie with Sony, and it's always been a weird dance of watching these two studios make a movie. I like the fact that they pull this off. They get off a cameo and everybody goes, oh, hey, yay, it's that guy, whoopee. And then immediately into, okay, we've now dealt with this. Now here's the rest of the movie and a much more human story. And I actually really like, as I know some people have been kind of like annoyed, like, oh my God, only millennials and Zoomers would make a huge deal out of this. I like jumping immediately into, okay, in lieu of in the comics, it's always, if people find out I'm Spider-Man, supervillains will come after them and try to murder them. Again, there's a million superheroes, even in the comics version of this universe. This really isn't that big a deal for you. I like that it's actually, if people know I'm Spider-Man, my friends won't be able to get into college. That's the actual end of the world if you are a teenager right now. I like the movie's acknowledgement that that's what would actually ruin your life if you're an actual teenager right now.
But in his defense, keeping a secret identity, when you're a billionaire, you can hire security, you can live in a big house. You don't have to worry about getting a job. You're a billionaire. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
He's the billionaire's security that the billionaire has hired, though. Like, that's his origin story.
That is true.
He's the guy the billionaire has hired. This hasn't been a problem with him since we've met him.
Yeah, if I was Tom Holland, spell like, yo, you put the weight of the world on. You ain't put me in the will, dog.
Wait.
Well, he did. He left him glasses.
He just left him weapons.
I don't care about Edith. I need.
Do we know that there's not Peter's not 18 yet, so it's quite possible.
You're right.
There's a trust fund that's about to drop on my boy. There would have been.
Yo, he ain't think about that after the wish. He's like, fuck the money.
You see what I'm saying? He's like,
just write the check to Spider-Man.
Come on. Yeah, it's cool.
However, Matt, so what was your initial, and we're going to get to Jazz because I can see she's got stuff bubbling.
Chomping at the bit.
The beginning of the movie starts right off.
Yeah, for sure. So me and Vic kind of talked about this in the chat separately when we were all talking before everybody.
We're not cheating on y'all though.
We're not. Y'all just hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
We didn't want to ruin it.
Listen.
So I do like the beginning of the movie. Like, I like the chase and everything and whatnot, what have you, and like how he forgot MJ was there on the bridge. I thought that was hilarious. Just one. I only have 3 like real gripes with this movie. One of which being at the start of the movie, I think the pacing of this movie was piss poor. Because from beginning to end, technically this movie takes place from the summer to the winter.
Yes.
But it seems like it's 3 days.
Nobody knows how long it's been.
So just I know that we were saying, like the end of Far From Home should have been kind of like the catalyst to the bigger problem in No Way Home. But them breezing through like the legal troubles and all that stuff, I was just like, well, that was just kind of a throwaway. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, you're good.
We're going to talk about the legal troubles in a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's some very good cameo in the legal troubles. But Jazz, don't go to the legal troubles. But
so, I mean, first of all, I want to say that Jamin Jameson is the real menace of this film. I'm sorry, but he just is. I had to get that out there.
He usually is.
I enjoyed it, but I agree with my panelists that, I mean, it had its issues. It seemed a little slow at first to me, like, because we all know what's coming. I mean, let's be real, we all know what's coming. So we're just like waiting for that moment for what that will bring and when that moment will happen. And it just seemed like it took forever, because at least for me, there were moments where I'm like, oh, this is where it's going to be. Nope, not yet. So I agree with the pacing, but overall it was good. I enjoyed it. I'd go see it again.
Yeah, me too.
I will probably see it again. Yeah, I definitely thought that it was interesting that suddenly, I mean, have they never heard of doctored videos or
No deep
know,
fakes in this world.
deep fakes,
Not
anything?
None.
I mean, they're
Which
actually
was
a little
all
bit ahead of
Mysterio's
us.
power set was
Right.
deep fakes.
Like completely.
They're
That's a
trying to actually
superpower.
hide. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I didn't see a year. I wasn't really looking for it, but I noticed when he was looking at certain gravestone later in the movie, the year was
Yes,
hidden.
they did. They hide that.
So
They
it's like we're
tried.
not
They tried their
sure.
best to kind of not
Yeah.
give us an idea.
But we have an idea
Yeah.
based on Hawkeye.
Well,
Like-
even more based on like when Infinity War happens and then
Right.
how long it's going to take and all that.
Right.
jazz.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
thought it was good, but then obviously there's all kinds of stuff with damage control showing up and being hounded.
Those guys.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which I didn't think damage control like arrested people. I thought they like came in,
They got
Control
thrown,
damage.
Yeah,
Thought y'all controlled damage.
that was it.
you
And
know.
true or false, did Tony Stark not like kind of make y'all anyway?
Well, I
So-
think at this point they kind of taken up the role of like street level shield. They deal with like the fallout of super stuff.
so
In
instead of
almost
shield, they're
every element.
cast. What are they?
Their helmet.
Their
His helmet.
Their buckle. That's what they are. Their buckle.
Buckler.
We do have a couple things in chat before we move on. We have Ripples of Tie. Hi.
What up?
Hi.
Donkey Forever says Movie Bob.
Yay!
So you've got some fans watching.
That's right.
I get, hey, Captain K, hello to this awesome panel. Eric says, fantastic movie and watch it again soon. And this person, Laya Paris.
What?
I think it's an anagram for something. The problem with
Maybe,
this movie is
maybe.
what exactly what we expect it to be. And also Andrew Garfield is the worst lair in the world.
Liars.
I think she means liar. But this is why May does the editing.
Well,
Um,
on the upside, this is proof that Tom Holland's getting better at keeping his mouth shut.
There you go.
Um,
That
He's
was
not perfect.
No,
real
no,
win.
no,
but
no, no.
He's not
no,
perfect.
No,
He's not
They just
good.
didn't tell him. They just didn't tell him.
That's probably what it was.
Their CGI things. He had no idea who was in this movie.
Shot the scene separately. He's like, "Yo,
Exactly.
You're hugging two other versions of yourself, bro.
And he's like, which ones? And they're like,
don't think too deep
Don't
into
worry
it.
about it. Don't worry about it. So let's think about his legal troubles. He is accused of murdering Mysterio
Murder.
in another country.
yeah.
So
Empire,
wouldn't he
man.
have to be like extradited to France
Well,
in
and
order to
England.
he's
England.
well,
Or
no, that
England.
was in
It was in London.
yeah, that one was in London. Never mind. My brain went straight to when they were in freaking Venice. But it's not just that, but he's like 17. So like,
You be charged as an adult.
Yeah, he
He's a
can be
minor.
charged as an adult without a
Absolutely.
problem.
Absolutely.
But somehow they made all this stuff go away.
Put the phone call.
Without the Sokovian Accords being induced, none of that stuff.
well,
Thunderbolt
he's a
Ross
very
ain't
Really
much-
show-
good lawyer.
Thunderbolt
That's a
Ross
great-
ain't
really
show
good lawyer.
Yeah.
For
Like,
Right.
killing a citizen of where, by the way.
wait, say that
That's
again?
true. Also,
For
Yeah.
killing a citizen of where, because as far as everyone apparently still believes, which is strange considering they have a body.
Mhm.
Like they
Mhm.
have a body. Presumably they can run a DNA test.
and
on-
he's got a
on
record
Mysterio.
of
Yeah.
like a professional history.
Yes, but
Yeah,
it could
like,
be an
this is
alternate.
a person who exists.
So-
Presumably, like no one in this world knows the TVA exists.
Right.
They don't know what variants are.
Right.
You know, unless this guy who, as far as we know from Far From Home, which is one of the things in Far From Home that I like, is that Mysterio's plan basically relies on everyone being stupid.
Which is true.
including
Very
the
true.
material that he's trying to get. Like
So-
that's up there. Edith is like the second dumbest AI system in all of pop culture, only beaten by Cyberdyne. Like,
It's
how,
it's
how do
pretty
you not
cool,
recognize
but,
other employees? Like, what are you doing?
like I understand why they can't show it to us enough, but I like the brief glimpses in that, and now much more so in Hawkeye, to remind everyone like watching at home that everyone watching at home knows everything that's happened in the MCU. but everyone on the street level is completely ignorant.
Well, they
as
think
to
of stuff like
90% of what's happened.
they still
Yeah.
think of stuff that like Cap's on the moon.
Yeah,
So like
nobody knows.
yeah.
So,
Right.
but like, presumably, what are they charging him with? As far as anyone knows, Mysterio is an alien from somewhere. Who did he murder a citizen of? Did they do an autopsy on this body? I mean,
No.
like, I presumably the answer is that the two Skrulls took it away before anyone could do anything with it and whatnot. But
And where were they? Where were they?
In
Okay.
traffic. You saw them driving. They were stuck in
Come
traffic.
on.
they're
For 6
handling
months.
whatever's going to be the problem that's not actually Skrulls in Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Well,
Not to
that's
spoil that too soon.
well, that's
I haven't
probably
actually seen it. I'm
why
just guessing.
his really good lawyer was able to take care of the problem,
Mm.
because it's like, okay, well, now the body's missing, so we
No
don't
body,
know
no
if he's
crime.
actually dead.
In the first 48, you know how it goes.
And
No
he
body,
became
no
a-
crime.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they could do a forensic examination of the video, figure out that there's, you know, some kind of issue. This could be doctored. We can't be 100% sure. So there's a lot of doubt that can be cast. Plus, you know, his lawyer happens to be a human lie detector, so he can also figure out who's
Amazing.
bullshitting and what. So
Anybody else figure out why Happy was possibly in trouble for this?
Yes.
What did Happy do?
Just
Hoarding-
because he's
hoarding
tied in with
swag.
Peter Parker. I mean,
No.
Because he knew him?
They kind of explained it and it
Yeah,
made sense.
The missing Stark tech.
Yes. That
not,
that
not to mention giving a 17-year-old like power over murder drones.
Happy didn't do that. Tony did.
correct.
And May allowed it. She's the worst guardian ever.
oh, come
Oh,
on.
she been
man.
known. She
Oh,
been known.
man.
She been known since his sophomore year how it goes down.
Worst
I'm just
guardian
saying.
ever. But yeah,
She's
they
like,
did kind
"Don't
of,
forget
like
your
Joe was
suit."
saying, they ran over it real quick, but they were saying that like the missing Stark tech, he was like being implicated for like hoarding it and like
Yeah.
not turning it over. Because I'm assuming that's how they got Peter off, when they collected all the drones
So-
and footage and Edith.
Yes. So
100%.
it's that, and I'd imagine part of it too is Quentin Beck existed before, even before all of this. So all they had to do was probably find his like records of employment for Tony Stark, and his face was probably on that, which I'm
I mean,
assuming
I
he
would
didn't
hope
get
so.
plastic surgery. And see, that's why I think they kind of like we all knew he was going to get off the legal crap. Like it wasn't going to be that big a deal. This isn't going to be a 2-hour movie of Peter Parker on
True.
trial.
But he's a menace.
So, but the line that yes, our human lie detector, who's a very good lawyer, very
Very
good
good.
lawyer.
Mhm. That was
Um,
amazing.
He said he had one quick line, which was like the perfect explanation for what was really going to be the big problem. Is like, yeah, your legal troubles are over. You don't have to worry about that anymore. But the court of public opinion doesn't forget. And yeah, they could find all the proof and announce it on TV, but you really think Jameson's followers are going to listen to that, or the mass at large?
What, you
Because
think
we
they-
have
What,
we have
fake
people
news?
in,
What?
we have people in the real world that get the truth spoon fed to them, and they don't
What?
believe it. They think it's a conspiracy.
Whatever do you mean?
I wasn't going to go there, but thank you for that.
I mean, I'm
What?
not going to say
the internet's
what,
not rational.
where,
Jay
why, when, how.
What?
I'm just saying that, like, the fact that that like Bucky could come out and say, no, Cap just retired. He's done. He's good.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, he's on the moon.
What you're saying is Jay Jonah was at the Capitol. That's what you're saying. That's all I'm hearing from you right now.
I'm not going to say
I
that.
had a perfectly
He had the
good
bison
reason to
hat.
be
You
there
know,
on January 6th.
I
But-
mean, they are only about 4 or 5 years out from finding out there was an invisible country in Africa. I mean, in that world, I might believe that Cap was on the moon too.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I'm not trying to like decry that concept. Like it makes even more sense in that
Right.
world where you have literal gods showing up,
Yeah.
robots
Facts.
that make islands fly, and an island that's been lying about its technology level for longer than most other civilizations have existed.
Wait till they find the Savage Land.
Oh yeah, I mean, we don't even
Wait,
have the idea.
dinosaurs?
We don't even have the Savage Lands yet. We don't have Krakoa if they decide to bring that into it. Like we don't know. Like, humans have-
and
Right, I was gonna
Atlantis.
say Atlantis right now. Would just
humans
mess
have been
everybody
in
up.
space for centuries, and now we also have Asgardians building a new Asgard on Earth. So like people will believe anything at this point. And
And 2
there's
brand new continents.
and it makes more sense in this world too. So
No, I mean, and it also helps explain how his lawyer, who's not actually that good of a lawyer, got him off. I mean, it was
probably-
very impressive that he caught the brick, but I watched the show. Unless he had to go down an underlit hallway and beat the cover up out of someone,
Which
Daredevil
he
is
did.
not that
That's
good of a
probably
lawyer.
what happened.
It's
Listen,
not that
listen.
he's not that good
Have
of a
you
lawyer.
seen what the
He's a-
hallways look like in Damage Control? That's all I'm
They don't
saying.
never, they don't never pay the bill.
and it's not
Always
that
flicker.
he's not a
Always
good
flicker.
lawyer. He's probably a really good lawyer when he shows up. It's just
Mm.
that he's got to show up.
All right, guys, let's be real. He's a
Yeah,
public
Electra.
defender. Let's stop glorifying it.
Well,
He's a
here's the
public
thing,
defender.
though. From what I
Doing freebies.
understand, they're saying that yes, he is Daredevil, but he's not They're not necessarily taking verbatim everything from the Netflix show,
They shouldn't.
Right.
and so the characters will be the characters, but they're not necessarily going to be the exact same. That could be an alternate universe where a lot of similar things happened, but
After Loki, they can easily explain it away as 2012 was the Nexus point, and the Netflix shows were a divergent timeline. Simple.
Or pull a Feige and just not saying anything.
Yeah,
Right.
or just
now.
not.
I do
We're here
gotta
now.
give Feige his credit. The idea that this movie drops the same week that we get the confirmation of Kingpin.
Trying to
Mm,
say that was intentional.
Come on.
Timing.
The only thing that's
I ain't
better
on
than
that
that
though
was
for
dropping
forever.
Black Panther during Black History Month.
Oh, yeah,
You couldn't beat that.
Can't beat that.
right.
It was amazing.
when I was a boy, see what happened. There was a nexus, and
Mhm.
I'm
See,
not sure what that
Feige,
is.
Feige could literally just be like, "Look, we're giving them back to you. Do you want us to take them away?"
Do you want them or not? Do you want it or not?
Dude, yeah. All right then.
All right, we got
We
a
gonna
little
take
bit
it
in the
easy.
chat. Mike Corbett says, two fans looking forward to Mom, M-O-M.
Oh, the Ministry of Magic? No, that can't be right. That seems too simple. That seems from something else.
We can
Marvel
talk about
Multiverse of
it.
Madness.
Multiverse
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Madness.
yeah.
Multiverse of
Multiverse of
Yeah.
All
Madness,
at once.
There
Okay.
you go. There
Doctor
you go.
Strange.
Too many of these friggin'
Can we talk about the
Thanks.
worst Sorcerer Supreme of all time though?
Worst?
Let me just get through these
Worst.
comments. Let me get through.
Worst.
Let me just get through the comments. Dongy forever. I really don't know way home. Would see it again. Yali Alaya, said if we only had a friend who was an actual Doctor Who could perform an autopsy.
Mm,
You
Mm.
know,
Ooh,
If only we had one of those.
if only there was. I don't know.
Only.
Former surgeon.
Who
Yeah.
could also just magic his way into the morgue. You know,
Is anyone
Just
going to trust his
Yes.
opinion anymore?
quick
don't
in and
know.
out.
I don't know.
And Michael Kerber
Looking
says
it
they
up.
won't say anything. That's always been their secret sauce.
Mm,
Facts.
it's true.
Delicious.
Yeah. Or
Ignorance and
Or take
bliss.
credit for accidents. Happy accident. Oh yeah, we playing that the whole time.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy accidents.
So yes, let's talk about.
Doo-doo-doo.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the concept. Let's make everyone forget.
Mhm.
Jazz, what was your thought on that idea?
I mean, in theory, you have to remember this kid's like 17, so
He dumb. He dumb.
that probably seemed like the best idea at the time. Obviously, as we later found out, as this moment has gone through, that there was probably a better solution to fix Peter Parker's problems than having everybody forget. But I will say, I will skip to the end that if you notice, the end, MJ is wearing the necklace Peter gave her.
The Black Dahlia. Mhm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she didn't completely forget. So
Well, but here's the thing, though. You would think Doctor Strange, being a little older and wiser, might be.
I
for
still
the-
find him a little sketchy. I hate to say it, but like,
Well,
I don't know.
he
I-
definitely was not thinking very much in this movie. But wouldn't you think he'd sit down with Peter and say, "Okay, we're going to do the spell. We're going to make people forget who you are. That will include me. That will include everybody. Oh, let's have a discussion about the parameters of the spell before I start friggin' casting it."
Facts.
Especially
And
because
then-
it was his idea. It
Yeah.
wasn't even Peter that was like, make people forget. He was like, can we go back in time? I've
Yeah.
seen you do that. Can you do that
Right.
again? And he's like, nah, I can't. And then he's like, but you know what we could do? Let's just brainwash everybody. Because I'm the adult in the room.
Quick fix. Quick fix. He said band-aid on the bullet hole, baby.
I got you.
We got
I
this.
got you.
We got this.
Again, if he was a little bit wiser, it's like, this is my idea. Let's talk about it. Figure out the parameters. Is there anyone who still needs to know? Do you want me excluded? Do you want, are there people in the Avengers? The Avengers know? He could have thought about these things.
Yeah.
No, he's being
My
impetuous.
man could have.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my man could have easily just been like, you know what? Instead of making everybody forget that you're Spider-Man, let's erase Mysterio. Let's make people forget Mysterio and what he's done.
Biggity bam.
Movie's
But
over.
then you wouldn't have the movie.
No. Because then we get the multiversal stuff of people that knew Mysterio, especially when if everybody is fast forward in time, right? Because clearly Andrew and Toby did not get sucked out of their particular earliest forms. It is a newer form. So they had a Mysterio. That's how
allegedly.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's the answer. Is like, no, we actually did have a multiversal Mysterio, we had to deal with this.
But then we wouldn't have Alfred Molina literally carrying every scene with his 4 extra arms.
He was amazing, though. He was amazing.
But
no. We'll say that all's part of the slide. All part of the slide.
Yeah, exactly. He knew Quentin Beck as a lad. He was in his class.
He was in his
lab
class.
assistant. His lab assistant.
There you go.
Exactly.
I love it.
However, let me ask you a question. This spell makes everyone forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no one wrote any articles saying Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
What happened to the video footage, dog?
No one has a video. No one has a picture. No one has any of this stuff.
So
certificates.
I will say it's magic. And for those that know magical stuff in fantasy things, there is powerful magic that exists in other fantasy. For those that watch Wheel of Time,
so good.
There's a spell called Balefire that I guess will eventually make its appearance in the show, that literally if you hit them with it powerful enough, it will wipe every trace of them from existence. It's not so much that it kills them, it's that it kills memories and physical things left behind. You can wipe out whole bloodlines with that spell.
Crazy parallel, but if you take it to the logic of Men in Black, they was just like, you just kind of become deja vu. Right. Like people will be like, oh, I thought I knew a guy. Like,
never mind.
Thus proving magic is more powerful than technology, because magic can scrub the internet.
There you go.
That's deep.
We did get sort of a look at in this an idea of how vague it is, the way that magic works on people's minds with the guys who've been brought through, in the sense that they didn't specify exactly when they came through, because they're not, like, the Green Goblin has come through and he's fully armored up. He's not all beat to shit like he was during the fight, but he remembers right before his own death. Doc Ock remembers right before his own. They all remember right before then. So however they come through, they still remember almost dying.
Yep.
So they've got pieces of their own memories. So presumably, and he seems to stop. No, how Peter would know, it's no idea, but he stops short of even pressing the issue later on with people who might have remembered, as though he thinks there might be a chance that they would remember. Presumably, if they make any more, which I'm sure they will. I know that we're all supposed to do this stupid dance where there's a possibility that the most powerful corporation on Earth is going to lose the fight for the Spider-Man rights to a studio that's waiting around for Japan to sell them. But yeah, sure, Disney might lose Spider-Man at some point. That's going to happen. Studio can buy and sell everyone. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
they can float a few bucks our way.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been saying that. We've been
just
saying
come
that.
Get us.
We've been
saying this.
At a certain point,
every panel.
At a certain point, I'm sure that they will draw this back in as some kind of plot point. If Zendaya would like an island or something, and she wants to do these movies again, that they'll say, "Oh my gosh, someone told something." Because they did this in the comics when they erased everyone for Brand New Day. It was a thing that if he told people, they'd get all their memories back or something, or it would undo space-time or wibbly wobbly bullshit. So I'm sure that they're holding that as a trinket.
Well,
Well,
there's
there's
also
Martian Manhunter around.
the
He
ne-
can just bring him back, right?
there's also now a timeline where they didn't lose their memories about him, that they found a
Right,
way
yeah.
to keep them.
Right.
So they've got that going for them, and I'm sure they'll pull it. Also, because presumably this erases not only memories of Peter Parker existing, since I guess he now doesn't have a social security number, doesn't have any of his money, any of his
He's got to
gotta
retake
start
his GED.
yeah,
right.
he's got all that.
That I would have been sick. I gotta do this shit again.
Nah. Listen.
mad.
Y'all not even seeing what we just got right there. I'm just calling it right now. Put the pin in it. This is the origin story of Ben Reilly.
So,
Yeah.
like an actual Ben Reilly, or do you think he'll use the name?
That's what he's gonna call himself because
Yeah.
he can't say Peter Parker. Nobody has a reference for that.
Mhm.
So he has
I
to.
get
So in order for him to do his GED, it has to be a name that will track with something. It's gonna be Ben Reilly.
And then he can use that point where the Peter's just like, oh yeah, Uncle Ben said that. Oh Ben, that's a nice name. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben. Really? No. Right. Ben Reilly.
Ben Reilly.
But he's also the only person who remembers pretty much any of this stuff happened. Like, I mean, people I'm sure remember that a bunch of guys came through portals and did like bad stuff for kind of a couple of days and then disappeared, and Spider-Man had something to do with it. But presumably he's the only person who knows that one of them was named Norman Osborn.
Yep.
So if
Right.
and when the MCU version of Norman Osborn shows up, this is the only person who knows to suspect that that's also the person named the Green Goblin.
Gonna be an issue.
Whenever that becomes a thing.
Which
Again,
will be an interesting take, because it's kind of like he's got like movie viewer knowledge going into some of these events that might happen. Like, oh wait, I'm sorry,
I know.
Dr. What now? Otto Octavius? Oh boy.
It's just gonna be like, no. It's Olive.
Oh,
I'm
it's
90% sure I know where Norman
Yeah,
Osborn
Liv,
is.
Olivia.
Hey, it's Liv.
But that's
I think
if
they've
they
already-
actually show up. I mean, his
Yeah.
MJ is not Mary Jane Watson of NC
It's true.
Parker. You know,
I'm 90% sure they've already cast Norman Osborn and that he's already in one of the upcoming things.
Yeah.
But
Is that an insider scoop? Oh my gosh.
He's gonna be a
no,
Hawkeye. watch.
I don't know anything
He's
inside.
gonna be on
I
this
just know
week's
what-
episode of Hawkeye. Let's go.
No, I think that's who Christopher McDonald is in Secret Invasion.
when I was a boy, I knew a man
Oh.
named Norman Osborn.
I like that.
You did that. You did a lot of things as a boy.
Yeah, I know, right?
I have heard a lot of predictions though about Ned becoming the Hobgoblin.
Man, I wanted that so bad.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they
and
teased
it was
too.
kind of the thing about that though is what that made it super eerie to me was that thing that he said about not being an evil guy. And it's like, ooh, is that like a clue of what's coming up? Are they going to be?
It's so
Well, he
hard
doesn't
to
know him
tell.
now.
It's so hard to tell anymore though, what's just especially with this movie, like what's like setting up for something and what's an Easter egg. Like just like what's a meme reference
Fan
for the
servicey.
kids. Yeah, like what was fun? Let's put this in here because it's gonna make everyone go like
If
or-
they don't,
I'm something
ahead.
of a scientist.
Spidey
They
web?
didn't have two Spider-Man
Does
pointing
that
at
come
each
out of
other.
you?
That's an extended cut.
but we
Extended cut.
did have
I mean, they
Oh.
kind of did it in the science lab when he was like Peter, and they was like, "Which one?" They
Which
kind
one
of
are you talking about?
they all pointed to each other.
if they don't, yeah. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No,
Go
no,
ahead,
please,
Bob.
no, I'm stepping on stuff. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say also the you're amazing part. I'm like, come on, man.
That was
That
hilarious.
was
on.
great though.
It's
I
like,
love
I'm
that.
lame in
Sitting
comparison to
there
you guys.
laughing so hard. I'm like, oh, I see what
He's
Go
you're
ahead,
like,
Bob.
not like I'm lame.
Because we're gonna
but
go
yeah.
into triple Peter mode in a moment.
Whoa, that
Whoa,
sounds
whoa,
dirty.
whoa, whoa.
Three Peters, no
Hide
waiting.
your wives. Let's go.
That was great, even if I'm so sick of this revisionist thing that's happened where everyone did I miss something where the world has been really unfair to Andrew Garfield? Because I feel like Andrew Garfield has been feted as like one of the great actors of his generation.
Yeah,
has
but
gotten,
his Spidey was lampoon, man.
it was terrible. It was lampooned for a very good reason. Those movies are
His-
awesome, and he was bad
his-
in that.
His Peter Parker stuff.
Yeah, his Peter Parker was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
His
I will,
Spider-
I
his
will
Spider-Man.
say
Spider
that
was
I've
on
mentioned
point.
this numerous times to numerous people that, you know, I was like, no, I'm not doing Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I've never seen The Amazing Spider-Man. I haven't watched those two films. They don't exist to me. just
That looks like
just
really
because
good,
I
Jazz.
I grew up with Tobey Maguire, so
Yeah.
I was like a Tobey Maguire purist,
So,
I guess.
I,
But I will say that this film, I feel like gave me an appreciation for his films. Not that I've seen them, but I do want to go back and actually watch them now.
Just
to
remember,
see the different tie-ins and whatnot.
just remember, even he said in comparison, his Spider-Man sucks.
He's like,
well,
It's not that
for
he's
me-
bad. It's just
for
a
me-
comparison.
I
on
mean, you do have Jamie Foxx in there, so
for me, on-screen
don't let
Spider-Man.
this version fool you.
For me, on-screen Spider-Man though has been like, it's kind of like talking about Batman's for
Mhm.
on-screen, where like you have one that does one thing really well, you have one that does another thing really well, and then you have this one that does it this way really well. And
and
I
you have another that doesn't do anything at all.
And you got just been fucking up.
regardless of personal stance in the regard, like how you actually feel about them, that's usually how people view them. Like
Mhm.
some people are like, oh, this one is better or whatever.
Tobey
Like,
was a better Peter Parker.
Tobey was a much better Peter Parker. You believe he's a nerd.
Yes.
Like you
Yes.
believe he was beaten up in high school constantly.
Mhm.
Andrew Garfield, I feel like, was ignored in high school constantly.
I
And,
still want to be Andrew
No,
Garfield
no.
in high school.
well, I mean,
right
I mean,
now, to this
He was
day.
chilling.
as,
You know what
for
I'm saying?
for him to be a nerd, that's what I'm saying. Like if I look at him, I'm like, okay, if you're a nerd, you're the nerd that no one takes seriously and everyone ignores. Not that like, oh, you're the nerd that gets actively picked on for being a nerd.
Right.
Because he doesn't look like a nerd, so you don't think, oh yeah, you were
He
beaten
was
up
a
all the time.
skater boy. He was way too cool to
Yeah,
be a
I'm about to
nerd.
say.
Said, "See
My
you
man was
later,
definitely
boy."
skating.
And I will say, I did watch Tick Tick Boom, which he stars in. And it's on Netflix. It's amazing. Watch it, you guys.
Yep.
But what I will say is that in actual suit, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is far superior because he actually quips.
It's true.
But that's the only reason, and that's my hiccup with like Tobey Maguire's is like he's not like quippy. He doesn't snark. He doesn't.
I mean,
have
he
the-
did in the third one.
Yeah, but by then we also had
Get
Nemo
your
Gates.
rent when you fix the damn door.
That's a
Look.
mad quip right there.
But for me,
Flip
like,
quip.
and I think it's in the
He
first
said, "Yo, he
Amazing
said, you got some milk?
Spider-Man.
Go get some milk. Go
When-
get some milk."
when he's there with in the first Amazing Spider-Man, when the cops had or like someone had their guns pulled on him, they're like, "Stop, freeze!" And he's like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do?
My
Oh
only
no!"
weakness.
He did.
It's quipped,
Yeah.
he quipped like an asshole.
Yeah,
That's what Spider-Man should
Sure.
do. Like that's
Very true.
Spider-Man is the living embodiment of the internet troll. He's got total anonymity, and he's gonna say the worst things to you because what are you gonna do? Like
he's not just an internet troll. He's an internet troll that's gotten good at it. So he's made
Right.
it his business.
I mean,
Because
think about
Spider-Man has an agent. Peter Parker
Right.
doesn't have an agent. Spider-Man does.
Exactly.
And his agent doesn't even know who he is.
right.
He's just Spider-Man.
And where does Spider-Man do all his work? On the web. Do you see how it just ties people?
It all
Mind
comes together.
blown.
It all comes together.
Get us.
Yo,
Get us.
Disney, come get us,
Come
bro.
on,
Like,
that's all I'm saying.
What
That's all
y'all
I'm
doing?
saying. That was light work. That was light work.
I'm not trying to be mean to Andrew Garfield. I don't think anyone really can be mean to Andrew Garfield. He's incredibly wealthy. He's a totally good looking dude.
Right.
He's been
He's like,
in,
I'm sorry, am I giving a shit about you?
I
Gus.
mean, at the same point, he was in those terrible movies. He was making movies with Martin Scorsese and getting nominated for Academy Awards. He was in a movie for Mel Gibson, and everyone forgave him. It was all set. Like this
He's
guy
not.
has
He's not hurting. He's not hurting.
This-
Nah.
this
Correct
guy
me
has
if I'm
had-
wrong, but he was known as Spider-Man 3 in this film, correct?
Mm.
Yes.
And he
Yeah.
was the
Yes,
one
he
that
was.
didn't have the trilogy.
That's right.
Peter 3.
Oh
Peter
damn!
3.
Shots
Yeah.
fired.
Right?
Damn, that's a good point, Jazz.
Wait.
Shots fired.
Yet.
Ooh,
No,
yeah,
no.
there's
What
talks,
you mean,
there's
no?
talks.
Yeah, there's
No.
mad talks right now.
There's talks.
Amazing Spider-Man 3 is back, baby.
I would love for him to come back as
Mhm.
Spider-Man and Peter Parker and other stuff, like kind of like be the Peter B. Parker from Spider-Verse, but I don't want like him to have his own depressing movie.
Well, no, it'll be slightly better because he's got to find an MJ now.
They gotta give
So
a
that he
Secret
can
Wars
lose
at this
her.
point.
Okay,
He could be-
can we
Secret
talk
Wars at
about
this
that
point.
moment though?
Oh,
Can we talk about that moment, please?
Where they
When he
all
got
got
his
to
red- his
where they all
red
got to
dress.
redeem
Where
themselves.
MJ is falling, and I mean, even though I never saw these films, I knew that it was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man that saved
Fault,
it-
Andrew
our
Garfield's
MJ.
fault.
had to.
Yeah.
Oh God,
It was perfect.
That,
It
that
was
was a
amazing.
perfect, you know,
and it was a nice
correction.
little the way to tidy up his storylines there because he got
They
that.
both
his performance in this movie, I have to say, almost makes me not dislike those movies
and that's
as much.
and that's what this movie does really well.
Mhm.
It even if though you liked the original five Spider-Man movies of them, this one still kind of makes them a smidge better for various reasons.
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned Andrew Garfield having his moment to redeem himself and save
Mhm.
himself from the or fix the mistake he made, whatever you want to call it. But like no one talks about Toby did the same thing. His
Oh, I
Spider-Man,
was about
he
to
got
get
to
there.
save
Yeah.
he got to
but
save
yeah,
Osborn.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can we talk about how everybody, all three Spider-Man define loss in a different way that I
Yes.
thought was brilliant? For
Yeah, it was good.
Tom, it was May, which was
Oh.
that hurt.
That was a
That was
tough moment.
rough.
She did
For
it to herself.
Andrew, I know, right? For Andrew, it was Gwen, and then for Toby, it was Ben. And I think all of those things having that separate motivation was really, really smart to establish each one.
And that moment where he was like, "You have no idea what I'm going through," I'm like, "Yeah, they do."
Bro,
They
you don't
absolutely
know
do.
who you're talking to.
You don't even know.
You don't even know who you're talking
You don't
to right
even
now.
know.
When he said that, I was like, oh sweetheart, no.
Oh, bless your
I
heart.
love,
If
I
there's-
love
I
how
was thinking,
Andrew.
bitch, please.
If there is
Yeah,
a
I love-
Spider-Man constant in the universe, it's like they know what loss is.
Our lives sucks. But I love how Andrew Garfield like chose to play it. He's like, "No, I really do, but I'm gonna let you have it. Like, I
Right,
know
right.
you're hurt right now.
I know where you
like,
are. I know where you are.
Get your shit off, young man. Like, go ahead."
Now,
And then
to
someone
that-
shows up and says, "And I know, because I'm Batman."
Breaks the internet.
to that end, though, I did think that it was a misstep for not having Toby and Andrew answer in unison the continuation of "with great power." By splitting it up, it doesn't make it seem like it was a mutual point for all of them.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I think that would have been that crescendo moment where they both, answer, comes great responsibility. And he's like, "You two know how did
we
you
just become best friends?"
Exactly.
Except Andrew was not told that exactly because
Yeah.
Martin Sheen had to say something slightly different.
He did. Way to go, Mark
So-
Webb.
Among the drop
Them damn
balls in
Sheen.
those movies, by the way, is they hired Martin Sheen, who is only hireable in this century because he says things in Martin Sheen's voice,
Mhm.
and they didn't have him say the line.
Yeah.
It's not just that they hired Martin Sheen because he was in The West Wing and like
Yeah.
No,
He's
they
a-
hired him because he was in Spawn. Show that man respect.
Look, put some respect on that name. He gave us the Estevezes. Estevai.
That's
Estevai?
not
He did.
exactly.
Hey, one of
Charlie,
Ohio's
but-
finest, bro.
Hey, we not gonna disrespect Coach
We-
Bombay. That's
we-
what we
we-
not gonna do. That's what we not gonna do in this panel.
Hey, those are some of Ohio's finest. We rep them hard over here.
Finest.
Okay. Did y'all know that they're from Ohio?
I do now.
Yeah.
Things I learned
So-
today. I was this year's old today.
There you
Joel
go.
Davis says he found it interesting that Norman said Oscorp doesn't exist in the MCU.
Mhm.
Sure.
So there may be a Norman Osborn, but he's got to be like just at the beginning of his journey, which doesn't kind of go with the Spider-Man timeline.
Mhm.
So
Well, and-
unless they do something at the end of Multiverse of Madness, like a Crisis on Infinite Earths, where did I hear that term before?
Mm.
That merges a bunch of timelines together to fix things, and suddenly we have a school up in Westchester, New York.
Hey.
And this guy who somehow knew Cap in World War II, but he's still around and he has these claws. There could
Jimmy!
be- there could be a
Wheelchair
lot of stuff
Jimmy.
happening.
My buddy Jimmy.
Wheelchair Jimmy.
And
I don't think you're gonna have to wait that long.
True.
and
No,
Lyle Paris
Osborn works at
says-
Alchemex. That's where he works.
Yeah, I could see like Osborn's been making a name for himself working for some of these other
Right.
firms.
Roxxon.
Roxxon, yeah.
And then he takes
Yeah.
over and changes the name.
And
Yeah.
then, or he
There
leaves
you
because he
go.
gets his rocks off and then goes and makes Oscorp.
Hey, Write
became
the
a
check.
major
Come
HR
on,
issue.
come on. No, wait,
Let's
wrong.
go.
wrong
Get
face.
The
us,
line
bro.
is cut the check, sir, not write the check.
Cut
No,
the
no, no, no,
check.
no. I
Write
want
it
them to write it
too.
first. I just want them to write it. I just want them to write it. Actually, ACH me. You don't even have to. Don't kill no trees.
Y'all got Cash App?
You know what I'm saying? I do.
Disney got Cash App. Come
Venmo,
on.
Venmo me,
Come
baby.
on.
Let's
Elia
go.
Paris says great power was the Martha of this movie.
Yes, it was.
Your Uncle Ben was my Uncle Ben.
Greatest
Oh,
line.
yeah.
Period.
It was
That's hilarious.
I would say a better use, but still yes, 100%.
That's
100%.
hilarious.
That's right.
I love
Why
that.
did you say that
That
phrase?
being said, to talk to the Martha line for a second, it's a thing that like I never realized until that was brought up.
Yo,
and like,
when
oh,
that I was like, oh my god, the whole time.
How did y'all not real? Why am I the super nerd that
I
absolutely
swear
knew
I
that?
never realized that either.
well, and it's not that I knew it, or not that I didn't know it, I just never put it together.
Yeah.
Like
you
I
know,
never
it's-
realized,
It
oh, they're
doesn't
both.
matter.
Exactly.
There you go.
It only matters in that one
anything.
time where it was forced to matter.
What, the whole Martha thing?
Yeah.
Still say that's one of the most genius things that happened in cinema. I can back it
I,
up.
I
too.
wanted to
Don't play with
do
me.
a follow-up where, they were talking to Aquaman
Man,
and
Tom. Tommy.
and he's like, I'm sorry you can't join. Your mother's name wasn't Martha. And he's like, my father's name was Thomas. Your dad's like my dad.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome aboard, bro.
Yeah, it's real.
Welcome
It's real.
aboard. Welcome
It was a
aboard.
great joke in that Teen Titans cartoon, and that was the and that was its destiny.
Such a
Oh
great
my
show.
god.
But no, in general, going back to the great power, like I liked and both rolled my eyes super hard at the use of that line again. I'm like, I understand that it's iconic and it's part of who Spider-Man is, but like I also like the idea that some of the stuff the MCU does is change who these characters are while not changing who these characters are.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I hate to drag him into this, but Hank Pym is a primary example of this. Like he's still a dirtbag piece of crap. He just doesn't beat his wife anymore. But he's still a dirtbag piece of crap. He just didn't make Ultron.
Whoa. We don't know that he didn't beat his wife.
Right, he
Well,
left her in the
I'm-
quantum
Yeah, he
realm.
left
I was
her in
gonna say,
the.
he's been gone for quite a while.
I'm
He
just
left
saying,
her there. That's all.
That's
I'm
why she ain't
saying
gonna come back.
based
That's why
on-
she ain't want to come back. She like,
Right.
based on the
For 30
information we
years.
have
Is he
available
dead?
to us, based on the information we have available to us,
Mhm.
Hank Pym is a piece of crap, but not an Ultron making wife abusing piece of crap.
I'll give you the
based-
Ultron one.
Based
I'll
on
give
the
you the
Welcome
information,
to the Quantum Realms Shelter for Women.
I'm just saying.
Stop this way.
Listen, yo, it started by Sue
I'm
Storm.
I'm just saying based on the information we have available to us, and no, that's in the negative zone.
I'm just because if you think about it, like you mentioned his wife, it's a trigger for fighting for him, right? Because we definitely saw that in the first one. Dude was like, yeah, blah blah blah, your wife, and here comes Hank just starting to throw hands.
well, yeah, sure, he'll beat the crap out of like the dude who
Anyone.
very obviously was a hydro plant, but
he said, I believe in equal rights
Joel
and left.
also
I'm just saying,
points out that it's odd but kind of cool that in retrospect, the Spider-Man trilogy
Mhm.
is essentially a 3-part origin story for the Spider-Man.
Which is good. Which is good.
I also really enjoy that this is a trilogy of what was almost 3 trilogies. Not fully,
Yeah.
but it's a trilogy of movie series regardless,
Right.
which is nice. Andrew got a 3rd movie somewhere.
Hey,
There you
it's
go.
coming.
There you go.
Did we ever go
Flashback-
back to
flashback
the
and
worst Sorcerer Supreme of all time? No.
Don't do this.
No.
to me. Don't
Do we want to
And-
we want to talk about badmouth Doctor Strange? Go right ahead, please.
Oh no,
He's
no,
not
no, no,
bad-mouthing
no, no,
Strange,
no,
he's
no,
bad-mouthing
no,
Wong.
no, yeah, I'm
Better
talking about Wong. Wong is
Wong.
the trash one.
They said on Instagram, they said if
Even
this
when
don't
he's
got
right,
nothing to
he's
do with me
wrong.
was a person.
Exactly.
He said, "Yo, dude,
Without
Shimon,
question.
leave me out of it.
I thought his name was Benedict. Apparently, it's just Bennett, and he ain't in it. I'm telling you that right now. Check the deuce early. He hit the deuce.
You said Wong.
You
Nah,
know,
bro, my name is gone. Nigga.
It's
I'm out.
really, I kind of wish they left it like they did in the actual trailer where he's like, don't do it. Just promise me you're not going to do it. Because that made sense. And then it's just like, this is how Wong learns really not to trust Strange, because Strange
Right.
is a giant child. So
Wait. No. Let's go back, though. When I'm talking about his irresponsibleness, let's talk about how you're Sorcerer Supreme, but you're fight clubbing it in Macau? What?
That's a good point.
Sir.
in the previous
Sir.
Sorcerer, And the previous Sorcerer Supreme was using dark magic. None of them are perfect.
I do not believe those two things are aligned. That's a very different
That
analogy.
is a nexus point, sir.
Yeah.
Dark magic.
Yeah.
Karaoke. Don't
Dark
forget the
magic in the
karaoke.
service of the universal balance is fine.
And
Versus
he's street fighting in Macau to make contacts. How
No,
useful is it going to
no,
be?
he's
That's so
fixing
terrible.
fights to make money. Let's say that.
exactly. Come on, man.
Because
You know
being
what
the
it is.
Sorcerer Supreme doesn't pay super well, and you got to rebuild those sanctums.
Oh my
How-
god.
And-
how else am I supposed to get these Beyonce albums, bro?
And maybe we're going to see in 2 movies that Abomination is training to be a sorcerer now. It's not a good
Him
idea,
and Mad Bo,
but
they're gonna be up there doing the thing.
Blonsky doing the thing. Blonsky and Mad.
This doesn't seem to be a terribly well-regulated part of this universe.
no.
No,
At
I'm saying.
all.
To the
Magic
degree
is
that
running
anything
rampant.
is, that this is
Oh,
another thing that
man.
I think actually works about this universe is that most of these people are only about as ethical or smart as the plot dictates,
Man,
and it kind of works. Like the government basically doesn't run right.
trash.
Shield fell apart almost immediately.
Yep.
Mhm.
Tony Stark is kind of a dumb asshole, other than being smart. Hank
Hey, I'm
Pym
gonna
is-
tell a
dead
terrorist my
dumbass.
exactly.
Like-
No, I'm gonna tell a terrorist my address and not expect them to attack me.
like everyone is kind of running on the honor system in this whole universe.
Well, I mean,
even
that's,
even in the multiverse of madness like teaser at the end, like him saying to Wanda, no, I don't care about Westview. You're good.
Right,
You're
homie,
fine. It happened.
homie.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
Jersey.
knew. I just didn't. We saw. We just didn't care. We
Listen,
figured
it
that was
was-
gonna
it
work.
was-
He hit
was-
you at the
it
end of the
was-
road. Maybe I knew about it. I just didn't care.
well, it's not just that.
Yeah.
Like Westview is supposed to take place literally like a week after Endgame ended.
Right.
So like at that point, Strange and Wong are probably just like, we need to
We're
rebuild
tired.
this thing.
We're tired.
Nah, Wong is over there like, hey,
We're
listen. I'm Sorcerer Supreme. You go rebuild it. That's what Wong did. Wong was like, hey, go
Leave
to
me
the
out of
deli and get me a sandwich.
He said, "My man,
feel like
he's like, I got to fight in 5
maybe-
minutes, so I
Yeah.
gotta get."
Strange
got a
is a
carb
little
load.
bit bitter because
Oh,
yeah.
Wong, because he
So
flipped
bitter.
out. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, Wong
He was sick. He was
Yeah.
sick.
He's a little
Well,
bitter.
can you imagine? Just look at the blip from the perspective. A lot of people blipped out, come back, and their job is taken by some young punk or some.
I mean, I'd
Well-
be kicked off too. Honestly.
We talked about this in Hawkeye, but like Anna, one of the spies that Yelena was trying to free, she's adopted a baby, and that baby is very obviously probably someone that was left behind by someone
Yep.
that got snapped.
Flip,
So
baby.
what happens
Blip,
when
baby.
Anna, who's taking care of this baby for close to 5 years, that baby's parents come back and are like, "Hi, we like our child now." Like what?
Matt
That's-
Murdock is mad busy. That's what that is right
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock is
Mad
Matt busy.
bro.
So that, I mean, that's kind of the whole point of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like the
Mhm.
underlying problem there is like there are these huge problems and they're trying to find easy solutions.
Mhm.
And there is no such thing as easy solution for what's
and,
happening.
and people are blipping right back to where they were.
Yeah.
How about
Right.
the people who are on airplanes?
No, they got
that,
blipped
was
safely.
that was the point that we
Safely.
brought
Hulk
up.
is smart enough. He probably put that in there.
Yeah,
it was like the
yeah.
subtext.
Let them be safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't see the whole like scene that
Right.
like everyone that uses the gauntlet for something like that has a scene. And while they didn't have it in the movie, Tony had his.
Right.
They recorded it. So we have no idea what Hulk's was.
He saw Ed Norton. He's like,
he was like,
Ooh.
what? This is weird. Are you a variant?
He said, "What should I do?" He said, "Don't ask for more money.
Yeah.
Don't ask
No,
whatever you
And then
do."
so
like-
Eric Bana,
No,
and he's like,
Wasn't
"No,
that
no,
Terrence
no."
Howard?
definitely,
Ooh.
definitely.
Terrence didn't listen either.
Yeah,
Asked for
no,
more
he
money.
didn't. He was the first one.
Bro,
So-
I get more, right?
Well,
Howard asked for more money. Edward Norton asked to continue acting like Edward Norton.
And it was like,
yeah,
nah.
that too.
It was like, nah.
He's like,
Norton's
No.
like, I want to control the fate of the Hulk. No.
No.
Joel
Don't think
Davis
he
says
can.
it since
I
it seems
I
Norman and
remember when they-
Oscorp.
Cast Edward Norton, and the joke around town was, okay, so who's going to play the Hulk in the second one?
Dang.
Apparently Mark Ruffalo. So Joel Davis says, since it seems Norman and Oscorp doesn't exist in the MCU yet, he thinks that Kingpin might be the one behind the Dark Avengers stuff.
That
I can
tracks.
get with that. I can get with that.
Because
Could be.
he's associated with Eleanor, who
Right.
obviously
Val.
has some sort of link to Val. Yeah, he's building either Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
in
with
Or
Lord.
the Legion of Doom.
Either one.
Sorry, shit.
Wrong
we,
world.
we had talked about it earlier, but like Edith for Armor Wars, she's on the board again. Like they
Yep.
seized those glasses, they got all that
Right.
stuff. I think the Department of the Damage Control, I think they're an evil organization. They just look.
And if
like
they
Oh,
weren't
absolutely.
initially, they're gonna be.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, are the damage control guys in the movie the people that they cast for that show that they didn't make?
There was supposed to be a
any-
show for
are any
that.
of them-
Yeah, there
Just
was
them-
a
them
show that
cleaning
was
up
supposed to happen.
messes.
Yeah.
I think when Disney Plus was announced, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a damage control show." See,
Yeah.
and I had heard damage control was gonna be like a workplace comedy.
Right. Like
which
Oh,
would've
that'd
been-
been so, but
Which-
maybe
Like
because
The
they want them to
Office
be bad
MCU
guys
style.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if they want them to be like evil, that wouldn't have really
Well,
panned
and
out too.
I think the whole reason it fell through is like I want to say DC did like the exact same thing but
They did.
faster.
yeah.
Oh,
It was a thing with like Alan Tudyk or something in it and
Mhm.
all that jazz.
It's
And it
called
didn't go
Powerless.
anywhere, right? It
oh
got
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
They had like a pilot trailer and then they didn't run it.
yeah.
Everyone
just
got
enough
really
to stop
excited
them.
because
I remember that.
Starro was in the trailer. And
Yep.
That's how long ago that was.
Look, see, that's how Doctor Strange's spell works. Totally was out of my
Exactly.
mind.
Totally
Till someone
forgot.
just brought it up.
now we brought it up.
Now I remember it.
I'm sorry,
So
who are you
terrible.
again?
That's how that works. Okay.
you forget again.
So-
It's like, oh shit.
I think what's going to be interesting to see is like, does the spell like that affect things like, and even though he doesn't know who he was, but like Loki was out of the time stream and no one remembers like talking about the show Loki. No one remembers the events of the series Loki, even though they
Mhm.
happened. Because Loki goes back, is like, hey Mobius, we got to do the thing. And he's like, who the hell are you?
What
So
about
You're
people
an
that are off
analyst,
planet?
right?
are there going to
Wow.
be people that were outside the reach of the spell that are going to be coming back? Like, does this affect the rest of the universe?
Right.
Is Captain Marvel going to show up and know who Peter Parker is because she was
Right.
off planet?
And if this spell works like that, why is Doctor Strange a fucking idiot who didn't use this against Thanos when he had the opportunity? What are you doing?
Yeah,
What
I
are
know.
you doing?
If magic
You
is
don't-
that powerful, why don't they
magic spells
literally
for you.
solve problems with magic?
Right?
We're gonna just make Thanos forget the Infinity Stones.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's like you don't even like balance. And he's like,
He like,
oh
you
god.
don't like
I
balance?
don't like balance at all.
And then brainwash
I
them to
heard you
use
had
the stones.
vertigo.
Brainwash them to use the stones to make resources infinite.
Or just introduce, him to T'Challa. And
Yeah,
he was
right.
talked out of it.
Boom.
Solves
There,
everything.
there would have went.
How come he didn't see that in his
Oh,
1,400 million views right there?
Let's be
So I
honest,
The one he
actually,
missed, he
Dark
just
Day,
goes like,
okay?
"Hey, let's just talk to this guy and have him talk to
Well,
him."
because it's from that point on, not from the past.
Yeah, I also had read something pretty cool, which I never thought of before. Like, out of all those ones where he found the one, that was just one where he was alive to see it work. They said there
Yeah.
could have been ones where he died, where it
And
didn't
he couldn't
work,
see
but
him.
because he couldn't see past that point because he died. So selfish.
right.
He picked the one where he lived. He was like, yeah, let's
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well,
this
no,
one.
it's that's how Strange's mind works. It's not that like he didn't even think about it like that. Like he just saw these are the ones I could see, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's like, if he's like, well, I know that I die in this one, but everyone is saved. He might
don't
have
like
chosen that
that.
one, but he couldn't see it. He
Yeah.
couldn't
Right,
see
right,
beyond.
right.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen Benedict Cumberbatch at the premiere though? He's dressed like Tony Stark. I still say that he might have been dead this
That
whole
was
time.
intentional. That was
Well, it's
intentional.
because which is a snarky move because he kind of fills a similar role in this one.
He does.
He's
He
just
does.
Facts.
Absolutely.
I hate to put it like this. He's just
It's
less
true.
responsible, Tony Stark.
Which is
Um,
true.
Which is amazing.
And Tony Stark left Peter Parker a weapons platform. So
Yes, he
like
did. And a faulty one who couldn't recognize former Stark employees, even though they were all around the bar.
All right. You were
Dumb.
literally on his face.
Dumb.
Don't I know you? I recognize this bone structure.
which going back, that has to be how they're able to fully clear Peter's name from any sort of legal shenanigans is literally just like, I don't think Quentin killed literally every single Stark person that worked with him on that situation.
Exactly.
So at one point, someone had to come forward and be like,
Somebody
hey, if I can get
flips.
immunity,
Right.
this is what happened.
If I can get immunity from a cave and a box of scraps, I'll take it.
It was that guy.
You
'Cause
know
he's
it
like,
was.
People
It
just
had to
keep
be.
yelling at me,
Shout
bro.
out to the Christmas story. Let's go.
People, oh, that is him. He's like, people just keep yelling at me. Like,
Right.
Let it roll.
I'm tired of this. Janice
Also-
making up stories.
Right.
Joel says that he remembers damage control was during the ABC Marvel TV days,
Mhm.
but when
Yeah.
Feige got full power, that got canned. And Laya says, but anyone recognize that Tom Hardy was less sweaty in this movie than in his own?
which
In
is
You said
funny.
shower.
Yeah,
I
you're in
never watched
Mexico.
Venom, so I have no opinion.
Which is funny because he was in a tropical climate. So
Right.
anybody that's been this far south knows no, he should have been 100% sweatier than he was.
No. As they said in the movie, the MCU universe is better than any other universe. Their
So they
tropic is
They got
cooler.
air conditioning. They got
Boom.
outside
You see what I'm
air.
saying?
That's true.
See what I'm saying?
He was the part of Mexico he might have been in might have been like more touristy, and they may have
Exactly.
had like ACs in their bars and stuff. So I don't know. I have no
Exactly.
idea.
Do y'all think that Tom Hardy Venom getting like snapped back to his like universe? You think that kind of is definitely like a oop to get the Flash version of Venom? Like he could go on like
Yes.
a family trip to that resort. and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
would
you know
be
who-
that would
you know
be
who goes
cool,
to
but really
MIT?
depressing. That would be really depressing.
Y'all know who goes to MIT.
But see, what'd be really depressing about this element is the
Mhm.
idea that like the Flash Venom loses his legs, and while this Flash Thompson is a jerk, he's like
He needs
if
his
he
legs.
lost
Nah, it's gonna happen in Ironheart, like he's saying. Like
Yeah,
Flash
Riri goes
loses
to
his
MIT.
legs in
He
MIT.
gives him some legs
Biggity boom. He's
Bang,
recovering,
symbiote.
goes to Mexico.
to recover.
Symbiote.
Come get
Boom.
No,
us.
he goes to Mexico for illegal legs surgery.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh!
hold up. Look, just come get us. Just come
Listen,
get us.
my Cash App is $V. Just let y'all know. Let's go.
Look,
I
you just give
think
him
they'll
the,
have him be Venom. I don't think they're gonna take his legs.
no.
Yeah,
They'll probably make him Venom before they make him Agent Venom.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't
That.
because I mean the Flash losing his leg things. It's a callback to the Flash as a disabled veteran thing,
Mhm.
which was there's a way to do it. I think that's really loaded now, and I don't know. I mean there's so many ways to go about it, but like they've jumped that timeline ahead so many times. He was wounded in Nam at first, then they jumped him ahead and had him wounded in Iraq and took his legs, and I mean I don't see this version of Flash joining up.
He
It
wouldn't
would be
in the military.
interesting, but it kind of needs its own movie. I don't feel like they do it like as especially now that this version of Venom is so exclusively funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just glad that Venom that was the perfect amount of Venom for me in
And
this movie.
For
I
me,
was so glad. I was
A,
so glad.
Well, maybe it
I'm
was just a
glad-
droplet
Much
more.
better than Spider-Man 3, right?
well, at least I was about to say it's really funny how we got all of except for Rhino, but we got all of the major villains for Andrew Garfield, but only like 2/3 of the major villains for Tobey Maguire, because where is Brock?
Mhm.
That would have been
Cam,
interesting.
yeah.
No
No,
comment.
I
Topher was
thought
busy.
it would have been
Grace is
cool.
but he was
Topher was
busy.
busy.
He was
Yeah, he was
busy,
busy, bro.
What I thought would have been cool is, Tom Hardy's character sitting in that bar saying, maybe I should go and talk to this Spider-Man. And it pans to the next seat, and it's that other version of Venom. And he says, I don't think
Just
that's
don't.
a good idea.
Just
That
don't,
would have
man.
been
That would
funny.
just been
Yeah,
perfect.
that would have been good. I will say that like if they continue with the personality of this Venom, if he teams up with Flash, that might be the best thing Flash needs. He needs a friend, someone that
He does.
unconditionally cares
Facts.
about him.
That's true.
He
because-
just lost his best friend.
Because
in the universe,
nobody
man.
does.
Because nobody does.
Not even
Not
his own
even
mother.
his
That's a
parents.
fan.
Not even his
Yeah.
mother.
Not
Mother
even his
couldn't make
parents.
it.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's real.
Like he may be a
Super
piece
fact.
of he may be like kind of crappy, but you feel for him every time. He's just like, I just want a friend.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, if they're gonna bring him back, I would prefer to see him in like the rest of these movies. Like if he's gonna come back and just be like basically a new character,
Yeah.
I
because
agree.
because they kind of like wasted the potential of that character. The kid's a good actor.
Yeah.
I say the kid. I think he's close to my age. Is it
Tony
Revolori?
Revolori.
Revolori.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I always mispronounce this poor actor's name, but he's very good. And I feel like they wrote him in with like the intent to use this character more, and then it sort of disappeared into no, these movies have to be meta commentaries about Marvel and Sony's working relationship instead of Spider-Man movies. So okay, but it's an interesting spin on the way that character usually is, to make him like still basically like the jock bully, but the like math club jock
The
bully.
magnet school version.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Facts.
that's kind of what they did with Joe Manganiello, though. He was just
Yeah.
kind of there.
Yeah.
Right.
for
Yeah.
him.
It's interesting. And like I know some people said maybe they'll stick him in Ironheart. and like I've heard that like reference that
MIT, baby.
just said it here,
Mhm.
and I've heard some people say that. That would be great.
It
to
would also
use-
be really cool if we had like it looks like they're leading to like Young Avengers. If Venom is one of the Young Avengers,
That would be
Yeah,
interesting.
Oh shit.
that
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
like having him as like that, or as anti-Venom, or
Yeah.
some version of that. Or I mean, I don't know. Does Sony own Venom outright, or are they allowed to like share that back and forth until
It's
some
up to
point
them.
3 years from now when they just take it back?
Anything
think-
that's Spider-Man is up to Sony to share.
right?
All
And they said they just reached a deal where they're basically, you give us one of your characters for a movie, and we'll give you one of our characters for a movie. So
Blade's
So they
gonna be in
picked- they-
Morbius.
So they picked Vulture. Like, give us like you take Tom Hardy, you take Spider-Man back. Just give us Michael Keaton. Give us Batman.
but see, Vulture is a Sony character technically,
Right.
and Morbius is a Sony movie.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. I'm
So
curious
speaking
as
of
how that's
Morbius,
supposed
we
to
got a
work.
question. In
Do we
the
have
chat. Is Morbius going to be? He's in the Venom universe and not in Tom Holland's, or
He's in the Andrew Garfield universe.
He's in, well, as of right now, he's in his own little universe because it has literally everything. It's got Daily Bugles and newspaper. It's got Roxxon Corporation.
It's
It's
got
got
Tobey
Oscorp,
Maguire Spider-Man poster.
but it's
I was
also
gonna say, was that
got,
Toby's? Okay, then
Yeah,
that's
that
what it
was
is. Yeah,
Toby's.
yeah,
and then it's also got Vulture though. So like he's in his own weird little corner universe that I have no idea.
And he mentions Venom.
I don't think
Like,
they
you
know.
Well, I guess Venom wasn't Toby's too.
No, no,
so-
no. If you think about it, we know the spell brought people that knew Peter Parker to this space, but is it possible that it took people who knew Peter Parker and put him in other places?
Possible.
That could be a thing.
There you go.
Well,
There
Look,
you go.
come get us.
well, how did it affect Venom though?
That's
Tom
the
Hardy's
thing.
Venom
No, no, no,
didn't
no.
know Peter
Absolutely.
Parker at all.
But that's not true because what we
the hive
saw
mind.
exactly
hive
the
mind.
hive mind says that all the symbiotes are connected. So the
Topher Grace
Topher
is
Grace
Venom.
one knew
Yeah.
who it was. Therefore, Venom. We got this,
Even-
baby.
Bro,
Even
Come
through a
on.
multiversal hive mind situation.
Absolutely.
He said-
Well, I
he
guess
said,
if you're,
The,
I guess
the
across
symbiotes are a multiversal hive mind because of
I-
Null, and
I
Null's
was about to
going
say,
to
if
be
you're
in
dragging Null into it,
Null's going to be
You
in Love and Thunder because the
I was just
Necrosword.
about to say the Necrosword is going to be in Love and Thunder.
if
Go.
they're gonna cast, if they haven't already, like Dolph Lundgren would be a really good Null.
It would be
gosh,
great.
He would be
I
terrifying.
agree.
Absolutely.
I don't
terrifying.
know that
Cash
Null
App
is going to be in
Fall.
Love and Thunder. I'm just
Cash App
guessing
all of us.
because
Right.
The
they've been-
Necrosword. If that's where Gore gets it from,
Well,
he's
then
gotta,
technically the Necroswords existed in comics
'Cause
longer
Hela-
than Null did.
And Hela
Right.
had Necrosword.
Even though Null created it now, it's like a retcon kind of
So
situation.
you're
Not
thinking
really.
Dolph Lundgren.
Am I blowing a spoiler? Has everyone seen Eternals?
yes.
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 Okay, because when they showed the Ebony Blade in Eternals, the Ebony Blade was their effect for that makes it look similar to a symbiote.
Yeah,
Like when he
yes.
reaches toward it, it doesn't just like light up; it crawls
Right.
around like
It's
a
like-
symbiote. So they seem to be keeping it in tune with the most recent comics, where the Ebony Blade is connected to Null and the symbiote. So
Yeah.
if they're doing the
here for all of
Necrosword, then they're going.
I
to
do like
the Ebony Blade and everything else. So
speaking
I'm
of
sure
the Ebony
Null-
Blade, I like that it was wrapped in like sutures or like scrolls and stuff to keep it, I guess, contained. Which
That wasn't
is
scrolls. That was skin.
scrolls.
That was his
scrolls
uncle's- his
Yeah,
uncle-
no, that was
yeah.
actual skin. That was.
I'm sorry. Have you
That
not
was
seen
scroll
Army?
skin.
Have you not seen
So it
Army of Darkness? Can a
changes.
book
That's
not be
true.
written in human flesh?
That is also
I mean,
true. That is also
props
true.
to Kit Harington for the most meta, probably untoppable, most meta Marvel scene of any actor in history. Of
Oh,
feasting back and forth in front of a table, going, do I want to, in front of a big black
Look.
sword as the
King
actor
of the
who
North.
just
I'm
finished
saying it
his
right
death.
now.
King,
Oh,
look,
no, do I
Kit
have to-
Harington's talent is brooding. That's
Come
his
on.
talent.
there is
Really
there
good at
is
it.
so much unconscious or maybe conscious meta crap in that movie, like the fact that the two characters
many
from Game of Thrones
references.
were
Yeah.
obsessing over a Cersei.
Come on.
Yeah.
There.
Richard
Love
Madden,
it.
Kit Harington,
love it.
Cersei. Yeah.
And
I
how
lo-
many of
I-
them were
I love it.
related?
Ugh.
Too many.
But we are getting into overtime. So
Sorry.
quickly in the chat, we have Joel Davis saying the next person they're going to introduce in Spidey 4, Black Cat,
Mm,
Hmm.
mm,
and maybe Kingpin. Though Kingpin's being introduced in
that's
Hawkeye,
wild.
might show up. But Black Cat, I mean,
Peter gonna get some nookie. Ooh.
yeah, I mean, he did
Finally.
have a relationship with Felicia Hardy, so he couldn't do that if he's with MJ. So he get a little
But
flame
he's
They on
not
a-
black
technically
cat.
They on a
anymore.
break though.
Little
They on
fling,
a
little
mega
fling.
break.
They on a magical break.
Girl, you don't even remember my name. It don't count.
Look,
I was
It's-
so freaked out at the end though when he
Oh
walked
my
into
God,
the
you're
place
right.
she worked and she's like waving at Ned. I'm like, oh my God, are these two together? Like,
I know they did
Yeah.
not.
Oh, I thought
I-
that
I-
was
I
so
had
bad.
that
I'm like,
thought for a
no,
moment.
please.
I'd have been pissed. I'd be
I would have.
ew,
Oh, I would have flipped
ugh.
the whole diner.
Yeah,
See,
the whole
yeah.
movie theater. The whole movie theater got flipped.
part of it was like 50% of that scene was me dreading like they're gonna show that. Oh my god, no.
Right.
But then the fact that like it was the most responsible decision Peter's probably ever made in his life was literally going like, you know
Absolutely.
what? I've kind of screwed their lives up with my mere existence, so I'm just gonna let them enjoy themselves for a little while.
I will say that it's taken MJ a long time to heal, considering
Right.
how long
It was definitely like
she-
midsummer.
how long she's had that
that man.
that Band-Aid on. She pulling a
It's a-
Nelly
so
on us right
It's
now.
a,
With
it's a
the-
fashion
with-
statement at this point.
With the timeline, I'm pretty sure the way that timeline works is like the bulk, like the first half of the movie is over the course of about a week at the end of
Right.
summer.
Mhm.
And then everything from the admittance letter scenes,
Which we
like
know
when
is
he starts the
post-Halloween.
stuff,
Right.
is like
After Halloween.
mid-November.
Right.
Because the events from it took about 2 weeks from the battle at the because they said 2 weeks from the battle at the Statue of Liberty to when he's like, hey, how's it going?
Right.
It was about 2 weeks, but still 2 weeks for that little thing.
I mean,
Come on.
listen,
Right.
That was not a
it was a deep cut.
it was a pretty
It's a
deep
nice
cut.
bump.
So
Nice
you know,
bump to the cranium.
He had to bring up the Statue of Liberty, so
Yeah, that's
Let's
true.
see.
I'm
You're
kind of glad they
building
got
a
taken
shield on.
down. I have to admit, I didn't really feel the cap
All right.
shield on the Statue of Liberty. It wasn't.
Can we
Wasn't a
just
good idea, you guys.
all as a family call bullshit on how does Spider-Man get to Ellis Island? I need answers.
No. It's
He
a
rode a
huge-
ferry.
It's a
He rode a
huge
ferry.
swing.
His web,
You
y'all.
gotta
His
get a-
web.
It's
What
got to
did
be a
he
super
web?
tight
Slingshot. It's a slingshot. He does it all the time.
Oh, he just I got
and
you. All right,
and
that
he
makes
had
sense.
3 other Spider-Men with him.
So they
One
just
of them
kept webbing
had,
to each
they just
other.
was webbing
Comes
each
out
other.
right
Whoa,
off his
whoa,
body,
whoa.
man.
didn't you guys catch that Ned used the ring
Mhm.
to
He
get
did.
him to Ellis
Yeah.
Island?
Yeah.
So
I don't
Yeah.
trust
And
Ned's
then he
aim.
didn't know how to close the door.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
that is
Because he
problem.
only knows how to open them. He's just
Yeah.
figuring this out, man.
He just did,
No,
man.
the
He's
one
brand
who
new.
can fly flies the two that can't.
Right.
Yeah. Also,
you go.
props. Also, props to Ned for learning how to use a magical item that
In
took
the-
Strange
in
like
the
months to
day.
do.
Well,
Really?
which is why
Yeah.
Strange is like you open portals. Interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, you ain't got to be magical to do it. That's how Strange learned it.
It's. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's got a talent for it though.
yeah.
He's got
I mean,
the tingle.
he's-
He's got the tingle
he's
in
got-
his
Yeah,
hand.
he's got the tingle. He's got
Yeah,
because he's the man in the
tingle.
chair. Okay.
Well, I have the tingle,
Man
just
in the
not
chair.
against bread.
No, but I
It's
mean,
not
they,
the-
they,
That was
It's
the
not the
best
Peter
thing.
tingle though.
they gave us Ned knows how to use can at least knows a little bit of magic stuff or wants to. They
Right.
gave us Ned in the cape and they gave us this ostentatious aside close up to the traditional weaponry stuff on the wall of Ned's house.
Mhm.
If they don't want that poor kid to get his hobgoblin thing, they put a
Yeah.
lot of extra
Put a lot
stuff
of work.
into
Yeah.
They could even use Peter breaking his promise to come back.
Yeah,
and
right.
remind he's like, you promise you're gonna come back
Yeah,
for me. He's like, I
promise.
got you. He's like,
And
I
then he said
promise.
no, and he's like, hobgoblin.
him and MJ both have stuff there to be used as origin story stuff.
Mhm.
Well,
My
he's
personal-
having his
They're
movie
gonna-
number 4 to fool around with the mother of all pretty blonde girls.
There you go. Let's
They're
just
not.
make it
They're
dark.
not gonna.
There's your-
My
there's your
personal
move.
stance is they're not gonna use it to make Ned Hobgoblin. They're gonna sideblind or sidewind us. They're gonna blind us there, and they're gonna make Ned the Hood.
I can get with that. I can get with that. It was the
Oh, I like that.
teleportation and all that stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
But if they
I'm
do
on
that,
Okay.
let's just have them just mess us all up, and it's MJ who gets Venom. Yeah.
Oh,
You're
take
welcome.
that.
You're
I
welcome.
take that.
You're welcome.
Look, I'm
You're
here
welcome.
for it.
Okay.
I'm here
I'm
for
with
all
you.
that. Dang, because
Dark
then she'd
Pico-
get the hive mind to remember Peter. Look,
Oh,
just come get us.
Oh!
Just come get us.
Wait, is that Ned over there? Hey, yo, he's opening the
This
portal
is-
for me, guys. I got to
and
go.
this is
Over there.
the start of Peter's own Sinister Six.
Look,
I thought
we
that
just,
was
wrote,
us.
we just wrote the script.
Me, I'm just
Boom.
saying.
So Dark Eco Freak 23 said they did more with Flash and Amazing Spider-Man than any other Spider-Man movies.
Arguably, yeah.
That still doesn't mean they did much.
Right.
No.
Or did anything good.
Because his father will fire your father.
There was a low bar.
And then Joel says that he hopes more Spider-Man stuff populates the other Marvel stuff as well, but unfortunately, we're probably not going to see Willem Dafoe, who's probably he calls him the greatest, MCU's greatest villain now.
Absolutely.
And
I
how
agree.
terrifying
I would
and evil his
absolutely agree with
face
that.
is.
He had
Without
no
a mask.
reason to want the smoke and took it anyway. Like he was like, I don't even know you, Peter, but I'm gonna kill people for you. I'm just gonna because I can. Because you look too nice. Guess what?
I still dig that they went ahead and kept Doc Ock as like once he's got his sanity back, he's still a pretty good dude. He's gonna go out of his way to help.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
He was a good dude.
all right.
But not Norman.
No,
Norman is Black Force energy.
He was power hungry.
Norman was out. Norman wasn't there anymore.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Just
They act like they cure him of the Goblin stuff, which isn't apparently connected to the Power Rangers mask, but
That's just
but they cure him of the Goblin stuff. Norman Osborn is still not that nice of a guy. He's a cutthroat businessman. He's ruthless.
There's
Yeah,
a
but
reason
he's not super strong.
he's just gonna do it again. He's just gonna do it again.
Yeah, but
He
that's somebody
always
else's
does it.
problem. That's somebody else's problem.
He's
That-
gonna
that's
Toby's problem. That ain't.
he's gonna go back. He's gonna perfect that formula where he doesn't lose control of
No.
himself
Oh
and make an
my God.
army of super soldiers.
No, okay, here we go. So what's going to happen is he's going to go back, right? Toby is going to kill him to make sure that he doesn't do it. Yes, the youth pastor Parker.
He's
Youth
gonna
pastor Parker.
sacrifice him for the greater good.
He's going to sacrifice him, and that's why people are calling him a murderer in Morbius.
Oh,
Done. I'm done. Let's go.
Cut the check. Cut the
If I'm
check.
if I'm wrong
I
about
also really did love the fact that it was Toby that stopped Tom
Yes.
Holland, Peter Parker.
Yes.
You can't kill
doing
him.
a
Come
very
on.
bad thing.
Come on.
That was such a waste of a stab. Like when he stabbed him in the back, I was
He
like,
did.
because that, like them killing him off would have like had me in my feels, but him just being like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've been stabbed before. I was like,
Right.
come
My
on, bro.
kidney.
I wanted somebody to have to web it up. I really did.
Yeah, that would have been funny. He's like, no, I leak spinal fluid regularly.
And you're like, what? Y'all don't have webbing come out of that?
I speaking of webbing, I do love the fact that they're like, your body makes it. Does it come out of anywhere else?
I love at one
Yeah.
point they're like, do you ever have web block? Like
He's like, now that you said that, yes, I
Yes, I have. It was an existential crisis.
He's like, oh, don't get me started on that.
honestly, the stuff with the three of them is really good, but like some of it drags just a smidge too far for me every so often.
What?
Like it's not what they decided to do, it's how long they decided to get to these scenes doing it. Like for me, the back cracking scene took like 2 seconds too long. It's not that it existed. It's not that it existed.
Savor those moments, though. Come on.
I found that so hilarious that everyone remembers the moment where he hurt his back so many years ago. Like that was such a crazy callback.
That was,
Yeah.
it was like,
I bet that's not even what that was for.
But it is now.
I remember the scene where he
It
hit
is
his
now.
back on the trash can. I
Yeah.
remember that. Like,
I'm
everything in
back.
the movie.
I'm back.
Ah! Oh, my back. Oh.
That is the definition of a deleted scene that they just did not have the heart to take out of the
Right.
movie.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of those feel like. It's like these are probably ones that other movies would have left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike that they're in there. I just wish they would have been like 2 seconds shorter or something.
I
That's
mean,
all.
it was for the fans. Let's be real. It was for
I
the
know.
fans.
But
that
like
that
there's
back cracking scene got just as much as a reaction as like the
It's
dope
Mary Jane
shit that
catch.
actually
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Like
did.
people,
did.
oh my god, I remember when he hurt his back. I was like, oh,
all for me in our theater, the
together, guys.
laughs that they were giving off was it had the energy of like, oh yeah, I'm old too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We realized
And this is Return of the
there.
King.
Yeah.
It can be long. This
Yeah.
this is
Sure.
They've had 15
Sure.
different endings.
I don't
And
know.
I was just very envious because I want someone to crack my back, but nobody can.
Yeah, that
So, but again, that's like of like the three small, tiny issues that I have with this movie. That is one of them. It's just like it's not that these scenes exist. It's that like I wish they were just better utilized. That's all. It kind of feels like they're just like, yeah, the world is ending, but we have a few seconds to be like the Avengers argument when they're like when he talks
You're
about
in a
being an
band?
Avenger, it's in the middle of all these villains attacking, and they have enough time to sit there and
It's-
monologue.
It's a sand tsunami going
Yeah.
around. You're in a band?
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
in something else, I'd have an issue with it. But like, these movies are for 10-year-olds.
Yeah. Again, it's a minor issue.
yeah.
It is not enough that I was like, this movie was suffering from this. It's just like, I would have been a little happier if this was removed, but otherwise I still freaking love this movie.
No, it was definitely great. I would probably say if I had outside of the pacing issue, the only thing that I would say drove me up a wall. May's reason for not hitting the button was probably the dumbest reason I think of any plot protection of a movie ever. Her hey, these guys who aren't from here who kill people shouldn't go back to their world. Like they basically they replayed it. So
you
his
can't
motive
send them to die.
So that initial conversation in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Matt.
Oh no, he froze. No.
Ooh, now who got blipped?
Right.
Not just me anymore.
Oh no.
No.
What, did someone get blipped? I
But
don't remember.
he's not wrong though.
Yeah,
Not
no,
wrong.
it's 100%. It is the stupid good is the problem, and it's
Evil always wins because good is stupid.
Yeah,
right.
A dumb.
I was gonna say the other bad lull is the moment when the third act starts and the villains are out and they don't know what to do with everybody.
Yeah.
So where does Doc Ock go? If he's clearly not siding with the others, where did he go?
Yeah.
What, that doesn't make any sense.
Blitz.
You did, bro.
And now there's two of you. It's a
Dang.
Peter Parker clown.
Here we
Look.
go.
We here.
Now
Thank,
go
thank
sideways.
God for cell phones.
Hey.
Hey.
But what I was saying, just in terms of the point of her dying being the motive of him wanting to do the right thing, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
But that initial conversation of, hey, May, they're super dangerous. They're fucking up the fabric of reality. They gotta go. Nah, bro, he needs you. Don't hit that button. Okay. I thought that was so stupid.
Not to mention Mary Jane was dumb for it. The moment that they announced on the news that May Parker's died. But
hit that button.
Yeah,
we're not even talking about it.
Jam that button.
Right.
People
Man's
are now
gonna have
dying.
to fight me in
people
order to
are
not
now
be
dying.
people we know. People
Yeah.
we care about. You've broken bread at her house. You banging her nephew.
No, because you
never
know what's
pushed the
crazy?
button?
I don't know that they banged.
Didn't Peter say, if you don't hear from me, hit the button?
Yeah.
And then when MJ was just like, I'm gonna hit the button, Ned was just like, nah, we haven't heard from him.
We haven't heard
That's
from him.
when he said that.
Bro.
Yeah.
You saw on the news.
Yeah.
And
I
they're
have
saying
to-
that he come on.
I have to say, I was expecting the button hit to reveal these new Peter Parkers that we've known from past. That's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Ned to do his magic and have it revealed that way.
Show me Peter Parker.
That they've been there the whole time, basically.
Which-
Just chilling in back
basically.
alleys. Why were they both chilling in the back alley?
Hey, all I can tell you is that the porn parody of this is going to be amazing. Show me Peter. And it's going to be fire. Y'all don't even know.
Man.
Parker is not that uncommon of a name. Peter is an uncommon of a name. There's probably, tens of thousands, if not more, Peter Parkers in the world.
Especially in
At
their
least a few
age
hundred.
group.
So it's you're gonna have hi, I'm Peter Parker. I fought in World War II.
I am Peter Parker.
Why am I here?
PJ.
Yeah.
But
What do
quick
you
question from Bob from the chat. Joel thinks chances are they'll bring back Defoe as Norman again.
I would love that. I think he could totally nail it still. Yes, please. What do I
Especially with the
sign?
positive reception. This is for Bob. Do you think Marvel and Sony are going to want to catch that Defoe bank?
Like I said, I have like I have like some suspicions that they've already cast someone to be the MCU Norman Osborn. I would not be surprised if they do, if they would get Willem Dafoe back. I mean, he only wanted to come back for this one, supposedly, if they would let him do his own stunts for this and do the fight scenes, which I just think is fantastic.
He did
Because
excellent.
you can
Absolutely.
pick, first off, he's amazing in this. Like, these are some of the best MCU fights that there've been, and they're between a 66-year-old art house character actor and
A child.
well, a grown man who looks like a small child. And I love
Late 20s, early 30s.
25 years old. He's 25, you guys.
Oh, he is? I thought he was older. Wow.
No,
Okay,
basically
well,
still a
25.
child.
Yeah, he's a
he
baby.
is still in good shape. But I mean,
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, you can just picture him going, all right, I'll take you millions of dollars.
I feel
Absolutely.
I feel this is Willem
I-
Dafoe.
Teenagers.
I
Just
feel like
beat
this is
them.
Willem Dafoe rectifying the Frank Langella problem. Like when
Yeah.
Frank Langella got prepped for He-Man and like was like ready to do this big old fight scene at the end, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. Like Willem Dafoe was like, okay, I'm on Aquaman. I'm gonna get ripped for Aquaman. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna be ready. And then they
Yeah,
didn't
like,
do.
You're
a
the
big thing.
advisor.
Yeah, they didn't do a big thing for him, and he's like, well, what? So
Well, as well as Willem
He's
Dafoe.
like, I will
seems to
be the goblin now.
always kind of like in pretty crazy shape, because I don't know that I've seen him in anything where he's not ready to go. I mean,
Right.
he's always
Absolutely.
Can we
He's
just
always on.
imagine the on-set chemistry, the Predator style handshake that him and J.K. Simmons did when they're all and they're like flexing at each other? It's like, you son of a
That's
bitch.
great.
Like, come on. You know that
Yeah.
happened.
I
Son
want
of
to
a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah.
The Wawa C group says, did the movie ever address why Norman's cure worked out the second time, but not when Spider Tom did it? Which basically they came up with a better cure with the Toby, with Spider Toby,
because
because
he's had
he'd
a lot
been
of time
thinking
to think
about how he could
Right.
cure Norman.
Yeah.
Though why he would actually do that much research into it. I mean, I could see him thinking, I could have worked on curing him, but since nobody else has that affliction, I'm not going to do a lot of research.
Guilt,
No,
guilt is a
no.
hell of a drug.
No.
Well-
What happened was it was after his best friend decided to take the serum and tried to kill him. And he's like, you know what?
Now I care.
I need something to cut this
that
off.
brings me to my question that I've been thinking about since seeing it on Friday is like, is Harry alive now because Norman isn't nuts, or
No, James Franco is
Yeah.
cut off, so he don't get to be in nothing. No more.
Yeah, and I think it created like a parallel, another like time stream,
Mhm.
because like we were saying, Norman didn't necessarily get pulled from right before he died, because he
Right.
wasn't all beat up, but
Right.
Toby probably went back to his time
Right.
after Harry died, because we had said before, the loophole in the spell was that like Electro and Sandman didn't necessarily know that
Did not
Peter
know that.
Parker was Spider-Man.
That's
so
in
they're-
movie continuity that
Yeah.
Electro didn't know, because
Yeah,
when
he
he
didn't know
takes
at
it
all.
off, he's like, "Oh, I thought you was black."
Yeah, he even says in the movie, yeah. So what we were talking about before you guys saw the movie was just like Sandman could have been from later on in the Raimi verse, like for a movie
Yeah.
that never happened, and that could be why he couldn't turn back into a human anymore,
Right.
because his condition had worsened. So he might have learned
Who
off
Peter
screen,
was.
right? And same with Electro, because no one died in that movie. Actually, Lizard didn't die. In Spider-Man 2, Green Goblin didn't die. Electro went back into the grid. They might have had like past, interactions with him, so they might have learned that way.
Right.
and we also don't know who else like Toby Peter has had to deal with.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
he's very vague about what's going on with his family.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't say that, so we don't know.
It's like with the
Yeah.
situation MJ, he literally says it's complicated.
That's because him and Gwen
Yeah.
started hooking up again.
Look.
Trust. Trust.
Well, actually, now they're all polyamorous, and
Exactly.
That's why I said we made it work. We made it work.
Exactly.
and there's a
And you know how they made it
that's
work?
banging
Because his
Mary
landlord's daughter came in and
With the
that's
cook- with the milk and cookies,
with the
came in with the milk and
cookies.
cookies.
but did they ever get the door fixed? That's what I want to know.
No,
Nah,
they
they took
broke
the
more
door
stuff.
off. They took the
See what
door
I'm
off.
saying?
They said we all live
It's-
together
it's
now.
we all in here. We all in here. It's called continuity, baby. Web
Look.
slinging.
Web
Talk about
slinging.
getting into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Look,
All right. That being said, we are like half an hour over.
Sorry.
So go around, everybody give their final 2 sentences,
Ugh.
short sentences. Check your Grammarly on your thoughts about this movie, whether you like it or not. We'll start with Matt before you disappear again.
Yeah, before I get blipped again. Love two senses. Love the movie. Hate the new blue of the new suit.
You don't like the Ice Capades blue, bro?
Hate it. That's why I wore this hat. Because in protest of that teal shimmery ass blue.
You mean the Scarlet Spider blue that it actually is? Ben Riley.
Yeah.
Not the best Scarlet Spider.
You're not wrong.
Not the best Scarlet Spider though, Kane Parker.
Jazz.
So absolutely loved it. Yeah, go see it if you haven't. If you've seen it already, go see it again. It's probably been the best movie experience that I have been a part of since Endgame. And yeah, see you at Hawkeye panel next on Thursday. Yeah.
a couple more days.
All right, Bob.
Liked it. Not sure that I'm totally in love with the curing the villains and saying that we're as a subtle implication that, hey, Disney Spider-Man is even better than all the other Spider-Man, and we're better than past filmmaking too. But like it, enjoy it, go see it.
Sorcerer Joseph.
Nothing but respect for my Sorcerer Supreme, Scott Lang. I love the crap out of this movie, and
I'm not a drink.
I love the crap out of this movie. It was a lot of fun. It may not be my favorite, and it may not be the best, but it's like way up there for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Victor.
Gotta give a shout out to my guy Marshall Ziegler, who perfectly wrapped this up and called it a Christmas Carol version of Spider-Man, where you have the ghosts of Christmas past and future addressing this one. And I'm just like, now I gotta watch it all over again with that in mind. So watch it with me, guys.
You do a really good job with these Christmas things.
Yeah, thank you for sharing
Right?
that. I'll definitely vibe on that next
You're welcome.
time I go see
You're
it.
welcome. Shout out to Marshall. He put that out there.
And I definitely have to say, I enjoyed this movie so much. Not that it didn't have its flaws, but the feels. It had so many feels and so many moments where it's like, it's, even though we kind of knew a lot of these
Doesn't
people
matter.
were showing up, but it was
Yeah.
still was like to actually see it happen. So I call it, Spider-Man fan service home.
Into the fan service.
Into the fan service.
No, it's
Um,
it's Spider-Man. No way, yo.
That's the
No way,
one. No way, yo.
No holds barred.
It's just a
Anything
Photoshop,
goes.
you
Love it.
guys.
I love it.
But everyone out there watching, thanks so much for tuning in. Leave in the comments what you thought of the movie. Try not to put spoilers in the comments because other people might read them. But just, tell us if you liked it or not. If you want to see the Black Cat get with Spider-Man next movie. Because, the porn parody version. Never mind. We're not going to talk about
Red Rocket, call us.
quickly, Victor, tell them where they can find you online.
You guys can find me at Vantage in House on all forms of social media. Look me up, follow, subscribe.
Joe.
You can find me on Twitter at the Spice Must Joe. You can also find me on Fandom Spotlite where I write stuff sometimes. I don't know when it happens. You can also find me on LinkedIn. So
Hey, there it is.
Matt.
Yeah, Matthew Porter on Facebook _menace2 sobriety on Instagram, and you can also find me on Fandom Spotlight writing some things.
Bangs and stuff.
Things
Jazz.
and stuff.
We're saving our guests for last.
You can find me here at Fandom Spotlight writing some things sometimes as well. Or if you see me at Fan Expo, give a wave. And Rose City Widow on Instagram.
Awesome. Bob, tell us all about where they can find you.
I'm Bob Chipman. I'm known as _movie Bob on Twitter. It's where you can find a lot of engagement. MovieBobCentral.com is my site. Movie Bob YouTube channel is where you can see much of my stuff right now. Movie Bob was the Redbubble store for some merchandise. And Movie Bob YouTube channel, like I said, I'm also a sometime co-writer and contributor to Film Theory and several other places around. Movie Bob is generally the brand. But follow me on Twitter, _Moive Bob, for most updates. Thank you very much. Really a pleasure to join you guys. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
the invite. This has been a real pleasure.
Thank you
A
for
lot of
joining
fun.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Absolutely.
And that was the most Bobs I've ever heard in one sentence. That was incredible. And of course, I am Captain Kyle. I am sometimes the governor on the Governor Reacts. And you can find me on Fandom Spotlight. You can find me on Toy Spotlight. And I even occasionally, once in a while, write stuff on Fandom Spotlight. But again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll see you next time. And the Sinister Six is going to go take care of that menace, Spider-Man.
Get him.
See you guys later and follow your fandom.